all these guys perjuring themselves on the oath. Number one, James never worked for me, never was head of security for me.
What James would do is go outside, get guys that look like they had a bunch of money, and bring them to the front of the line. And that drove my security crazy, but James was just out there working the door. Suge would have a bunch of his homeboys to come and be on the lookout, still, blood related, Pyro related, to be around. But James was mainly doing a little side hustle.
Never worked for me, never was head of security for me.
Now, in terms of as the person in charge, or the person contracted to be in charge of death row security, were you aware that Tupac Shakur was going to come to the fight on September 7th, 1996?
Definitely the plan. That was definitely the plan, and there was a reason that I knew he had to come, but that was definitely the plan.
This bodyguard, who's a real good friend of mine to this day, he said, "I'm a dead man walking." And he said, "Pac, why would you say something like that?" He said, "Because I don't want to go to Vegas, and I got a bad feeling about it."
A couple of weeks before Vegas, that he fired David Kenner and his legal team. And I believe he fired Reggie Wright and Right Way either the same day or the day after. And it was obvious. He was ready. Pac was ready to fly the coop. So for 2 weeks, they tried to get him to go to Vegas and he wouldn't go, right? Multiple times I heard that they wanted him to go to Vegas, he wouldn't go. Finally, I believe it was September 6th, I heard that Pac was going because Mike Tyson's going to walk out to one of his songs. I knew something in my gut was fucked up about Vegas.
He wanted to go straight to, Atlanta. But then Suge told him to come to Vegas and he agreed to go.
So when was Tupac Shakur supposed to come to Las Vegas?
Well, they always came up on that Saturday. I know that they arrived about 4 p.m. on that Saturday, but if they were scheduled to come out earlier or not, I'm not sure.
And then at some point, who's the security for Tupac that Saturday?
Mr. Alexander, but he was out there with me, getting the town cars and everything. Mr. Shakur actually rode up with, I guess, his fiance and a few members of the Outlaws.
And who are the Outlaws?
The Outlaws is a bunch of people, actually, but it's a group of rappers that works with Mr. Shakur that he was trying to help get their careers going.
And was Malcolm Greenidge one of the members of the Outlaws?
Yes, sir.
And I think he goes by the name Edie Amin.
That's correct, sir.
And Katari Cox, was he one of the members of the Outlaws?
Yes, sir.
And then Afula, and I always get the name wrong, but Mr. Afula, was he also one of the members of the Outlaws?
He was as well.
Okay. And you said Mr. Alexander was the person that's supposed to be working security, or the person assigned for security for Mr. Shakur, but that he was with you. So on Saturday, was anybody with Mr. Shakur?
No, sir.
And you had mentioned earlier that after the song Hit 'Em Up had come out, and that was probably, 3-4 months before this, you had assigned 2 security officers to Mr. Shakur.
That's correct.
So where's the other one?
Well, that was Mr. Hackey, Kevin Hackey. He was scheduled to also be attending and writing, and that's who I actually thought was going to be with him, coming up with him, because he normally was with him. Him and Mr. Alexander, they kind of worked out who would be with Mr. Shakur. And for some reason, he didn't show up. He now telling me he had a late arrest, and he was stuck at the hospital all day dealing with an arrest.
Fight night arrives. Where are you? Do you go to the fight?
I went to the parking lot of the fight, so it was kind of hectic to get inside, but also got a call from Mr. Giddings, Al Giddings, who was my supervisor at the club, and they was having some logistic problems, some problems there, and I elected to go and get things in order at the club.
So you get to the parking lot at MGM, see it's a little crazy, and decide to head over to Club 662.
That's correct.
And was Club 662, it was on Flamingo, is that right?
1700 block of Flamingo, yes, sir.
Got the
You see clubs. There's a red 662 club on this map. You see it?
Yes, sir.
Is that accurately representing where Club 662 was?
Yes, sir.
So you leave the Las Vegas Strip and head over to Club 662.
That's correct, sir.
Did you handle the logistical issues at Club 662?
I guess. I'm sure we got worked out. Yes, sir.
And then, was Club 662, did you stay at Club 662 or did you head back to the Strip that night?
No, I stayed there the whole time until I was contacted by some other individuals.
Okay, so we'll start, before we get there, how was 662 super busy that night or was it kind of less crowded?
The clubs generally didn't start getting crowded until about 11 p.m. I think we were there like 8:30. So it eventually got there, but I wouldn't call it super crowded at that point.
And then you said you were there and then you something changed. Well, we all know that on September 7th, 1996, Tupac Shakur was shot and Mr. Knight was at least grazed in the head by a bullet. Did you find out about that?
Yes, sir.
How did you find out about that?
Two gentlemen, Buntry, true name was Alton McDonald, and a gentleman by the name of Neckbone. Well, his true name is Roger Williams, and his moniker is Neckbone. They came inside the club and came straight to me. It was like, Reggie, Suge and Pac just got shot down the street. I thought they were messing with me because they like, where Reggie at, because I wasn't there with him.
They got word that Tupac and Suge had been shot. So Michael was with Reggie and they went to the hospital together. And Michael talks about hearing something over the radio. Well, he would have heard it over Reggie's radio because he wouldn't have had a radio that night.
Right before me and Mr. Wright got in the vehicle to go get to the hospital, someone else came on the radio and said, hey, don't say nothing over the radio.
But then Mr. Khaleesi, who was standing near me, I guess he talked to some of the officers that was working out front, and he kind of verified to me that something happened. And then by that time, I see about 4 or 5 other units that were working at the club. They started taking out heading that way.
Now you mentioned two people, Buntry, Alton McDonald. Does Buntry have any relation to James McDonald, the person that testified before you?
That's his little brother. Yes, sir.
And then you had mentioned Neckbone, Roger Williams. Were these people employed by Right-Way Security?
No, sir.
Were they part of Mob Pyro?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say, as we talked about earlier, that Suge would have members of Mob Pyro around?
Correct.
And while they weren't official security, would you say they provided a different form of security?
That would be a fair, yes, that's correct.
So upon hearing the fact that, well, at that time when Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur were headed to Club 662, were you aware of their movements? Were you aware that they were headed over to the club at that point?
Not at that point. I hadn't heard anything. Frank hadn't communicated anything with me, and I just knew they would eventually get there. But no, I didn't know any movement where they were at or when they were coming towards our way.
Oh, you had said Frank hadn't told you anything. At this point, had Frank met up with Tupac?
Oh, I'm sorry. Frank was with Mr. Shakur since about 4 p.m. on that day, 4 to 5 p.m. on Saturday. He was with him all that day.
So he didn't drive out with Mr. Shakur, but he eventually met up with Mr. Shakur.
That's correct. Him and another gentleman who initially was with him by the name of Michael Moore.
Prior to the fight starting, and I was told that I'd be taken off Tupac Shakur. You put Tupac at risk when you remove one bodyguard and say, hey Frank, you handle him. So for most of the day, all this went on, and Tupac did not have a clue that's what we were doing. I was a little upset that I was taken off of him, and I got into a little argument with Reggie Wright at lunch over it. He said, Mike, I'm putting Frank back on him, and I'm taking you back off. And I said, Reggie, that part doesn't make sense. Why not leave me and Frank on Tupac. And he said, Michael Moore, do what you're told. I'm going to put you at Club 662, and you're going to handle the security along with Al Giddens at the club.
And was Mr. Moore also a member of security?
He worked for Right Way as well.
Okay. And so then you have Mr. Shakur, Mr. Knight headed to Club 662. To your knowledge, were there other people headed over? I guess we already heard about Neckbone and Buntree. Were there other people headed over to Club 662 with Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur? On driving over, was it more than one car, or were there a number of cars driving over to Club 662?
And I can only speak on what I know now.
Yeah. Okay, well, no, back then, did you know?
I just know who normally with them.
So after Buntree and Neckbone tell you that Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight had been shot, and you seem to get some confirmation, what do you...
Me and Mr. Khalees and Michael Moore, who was with Mr. Shakur earlier, who got, his primary job was to work at the club. He and I jumped in the car with Mr. Khalees and headed towards the scene, where we were told Mr. Shakur and Mr. Knight was. However, en route, Mr. Khalees was on the phone, and we were notified that they were headed to UMC.
So did you go to UMC then?
That's correct, sir.
Now, taking a step back, did you see the car that Buntree and Neckbone arrived to Club 662 in?
Eventually, yes, sir.
And did you notice anything notable about that car?
Yes, Mr. Buntree, he had a Toyota Supra that was black, and he had one bullet hole to the driver's side fender.
Now, let's go back to, you're on your way back to, or you're on your way over to UMC. What happens at UMC?
Get there. Of course, Mr. Knight and Mr. Shakur was in the emergency room. I didn't get to see Mr. Knight until about 3 hours later. I saw him, but there was a lot of people gathering. Yes, people heard what happened from the club. They started gathering there, and people were just starting to gather, and in the parking lot outside of the hospital.
Was Mr. Knight held at UMC for a long time, or like for weeks, or what happened with Mr. Knight?
No, Mr. Knight was released. I left prior. I don't know why I left. I left prior to him getting released about 4 or 5 that morning. But I know I was back at his house. I went and got his home secured. And I know I was back at his house about 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. that morning. And was with him all that day.
After all this, or sometime during this, do you make contact with your father?
Yes, sir.
How do you do that?
By phone. I called him a couple of times throughout that night. Told him what had just happened to Suge and Mr. Shakur. It's kind of stressful for me. Called him a few times that night.
How are you calling him?
By cell phone.
Oh, you had a cell phone at the time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And was there anything that you felt you had to relate to him in order to let him know what might be happening the next day?
Well, during that night, or that early morning, I was getting information from people in the parking lot and around that, hey, they got into it at the MGM with some guys from Southside Compton Clubs. And so I relayed that to him. Didn't know who the people were, just that they got into it from some guys from Southside. And I told them, hey, it's going to be trouble back in Compton.
When did you go back to Compton? When did you go back to California?
Yeah. About 2 weeks later.
So you were in town while Mr. Shakur was at the hospital?
The whole time he was at the hospital, and that following week as well.
What was your role while Mr. Shakur was in the hospital?
I had 2 guys assigned outside his door the whole time he was fighting for his life. And they were there just we had problems with, I remember a candy striper trying to sneak up and take a picture of him while he was lying, fighting for his life. And we were just trying to keep people out. Of course, Ms. Shakur, his mother, was in charge, but just mainly trying to keep people out that she didn't want in, or got her permission to come in to see Mr. Shakur while he was fighting for his life.
And then you had said after Mr. Shakur had passed, you stayed in Vegas for another week?
That's correct.
Why is that?
Well, I'm the one that actually received his ashes, and had one of my security guys by the name of James Green fly back with the ashes and eventually delivered them to someone in the family. I believe it was the mother, but if it wasn't her, it was somebody that she authorized to receive the ashes.
Okay, but you are the person that delivered the ashes.
James Green was.
You received the ashes and
Yes.
then gave it
To James.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I want to ask you this just straight. Did you have anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
Absolutely not.
As a result of the beating of Orlando Anderson at the MGM Grand, were there any legal proceedings that involved Mr. Knight?
Yes, sir.
Is it fair to say that Mr. Knight was on probation at the time of the beating at the MGM Grand?
He was.
And Mr. Giacomo,
Before you said you want to start it?
yeah, for the record, this is State's Exhibit 115B at 7 minutes and 4 seconds.
Okay.
So here, just oh, actually, before we start playing, Mr. Wright, have you seen the MGM video before?
Yes, sir.
It's fair to say you've seen it more than once.
Yes, sir.
And that partly because it was part of a revocation proceeding that involved Suge Knight.
That's correct.
Now I'm going to show you 115B, starting at 7:04. I'm clicking, 1 second, not just yet. I'm clicking right now. This is the video that you've seen before?
That's correct, sir.
I'm going to pause. Starting at 7:20. 7:20. Did you recognize the folks that were hitting Mr. Anderson there?
Hitting or kicking?
Hitting or kicking, yeah.
Yes, I do.
Can you tell us the people who are involved in this?
That gentleman right there in the white is Buntry, Alton McDonald.
There appears to be somebody in a gold shirt. Who was that?
That appeared to be Mr. Shakur.
There's a person in gray on gray, looks like outfit. Do you know who that is?
The one that I saw that's right in front of Mr. McDonald right now is Roger Williams.
Okay.
I thought it was blue. I saw
Okay,
it blue.
maybe I'm talking about the wrong thing. You're talking about this.
Yeah.
I'm going to approach her. Show it again.
Well, that's Mr. Knight, and then that's Mr. Williams. Yeah.
And then, so you see Mr. Williams, Mr. Knight, Mr. Shakur. Those are the people that are evident to you in this portion of the video. Is that
That's
right?
correct, sir. Right there, upper right. Yeah.
So you see him.
Yeah, he has the hat on. Upper right corner is Mr. Lane.
So you see him leaving the scene, but you don't actually see him during the.
The altercation.
You don't see him actually hitting
I didn't
Mr.
see him, no.
Mr. Anderson.
I didn't see him do that.
But he's with the group that's fleeing the beating of Mr. Anderson.
That's correct.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as State Proposed Exhibit 60. Do you recognize who that person is?
That's Mr. Lane.
Do you recognize the person in State's Exhibit 7?
Wrong.
Actually, no, I gave you the wrong one. State's Exhibit 2.
Yes, I recognize him. That's Mr. Davis.
Okay. I'm going to show you the person depicted in State's Exhibit number 3.
Mr. Anderson.
And lastly, I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit 72. Do you recognize what's in that?
It's a death row chain, yes.
Your Honor, I'm going to move these exhibits into evidence. No objection.
So admitted.
Can you show number 6? This is Mark 6. I think it's 06. There you go. Is that the person you identified as Trayvon Lane?
Yes, sir.
Reggie provided a lot of information. He was in a very high-level position of death row records. He was very aware of what we were doing in terms of investigations, numerous investigations on death row records and Suge Knight. We executed search warrants. He helped provide information. Reggie had a game plan, and he made it very, very clear that he wanted to take over death row records. Make no mistake about that.
The reason they removed me from Tupac is because I was one of the few people that wouldn't buy into not carrying your weapon. And during no part of that day did I take my weapon off. And Mr. Wright knew that.
You and I had a talk last night, and you were kind of grousing about people who were testifying that aren't telling the real story. Would you explain to our viewers, please?
Oh, first of all, my opinion, Tupac was the most incredible person you can have as a friend, as a brother, and still today, his morals. Number one, all these guys perjuring themselves on the oath. Number one, James never worked for me, never was head of security for me, and I can see he's a little bitter because Tupac put him on his pockets before. But the most important thing to this is that they're not coming in to get the truth. Everybody knows he's an FBI informant. Everybody knows he's a rat. So why we got to act like he's going to tell the truth? Don't Keefy D and James.
So hold on, you're saying that James McDonald, the guy who testified, said that he worked for Death Row Records, talked about what he saw that night. You're saying he did not work for you at all?
No. Now, he might have been at the club hanging out trying to hustle people and not putting the guy down or nothing like that, but he's an informant. He didn't work for me. If he would worked for me, he would have had a death row chain. He would have had a ring. You would have seen him in pictures around us hanging out. No. One other thing that's very important. It's time for a change. You have people who've been talking to me like Universal for doing a movie or documentaries to get all the information from my side, because I am Death Row, to talk about Death Row. Now they want to do with Snoopy, which I'm going to sue the shit out of him, because you have a lawyer that David Kenner gave all my files to and gave it to him to use my stuff. So it's very important that people always, these guys at Universal who's trying to do these things at one-on-one, stop making people deal with street justice. We should be grown enough to deal with regular justice.
So wait, are you saying you're going to sue Universal or you're going to sue Snoop?
Well, Snoop is nobody, but I'm going to sue Universal for taking my personal stuff. That's like when you look at it, Harvey, how is it every company that's way worse than the Death Row catalog sells for $300 million, $400 million. They offer me $700 million. But then they go and get it for $25 million, the same people who did the default judgment against me. It's crazy.
I still can't believe Reggie took the stand. It seems like he should have been disqualified with him being a suspected suspect. Suge couldn't take no more and had to call out Mob James. If you tapped in, you know Mob James didn't like Pac. I kind of think it's crazy that so-called gangsters drove to get Reggie instead of getting busy. That's kind of suspicious to me. We know damn well Reggie heard what happened, like Michael Moore said. It's crazy that the people that were the most vocal about the situation are dead. The courtroom tension keeps rising, and watching figures like Reggie Wright Jr. take the stand after years of heavy speculation feels surreal to anyone who has followed this history closely. When names like Mob James and Suge get thrown into the mix, it pulls right back into the complex web of death row politics, unwritten street codes, and long-standing beefs. It definitely makes you look sideways at how certain real ones move when cameras are off versus how loud they used to be, especially when the ones who knew the most are permanently silenced. Decades later, everybody's still looking for total closure, but the courtroom keeps proving that hip-hop history's deepest chapters are wrapped in layers of contradiction. What's your take? Do you think any of these explosive testimonies are actually going to lead to the full truth, or is it just history repeating itself for the cameras? Before you head out, make sure to smash that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I really appreciate every single one of you tuning in and supporting the platform. We couldn't keep uncovering these stories without you. Stay tuned, and I'll catch you on the next one.